afternoon or morning. It gets interest when you start talking about food. See, everyone, okay, and that's kind of what, when this started, taking an agriculture area that was to be a shop area and trying to convert that, because everybody's looking at, when you do projects, it costs a lot of money. And so my goal was, I found it real easy, and my principal approved things when I had money and said, here, sign here. He was okay with that. So looking at things that we had to do to be sustainable and teach those lessons of math and science. So the agricultural things that used to be kind of went out the door when food science and these things came along. So one of our projects was we actually had 2 grants that I want to cover on this. And so one was the Kentucky Proud Project. And some of you guys, if you wanted a sample, you saw probably the apple jelly, the strawberry jelly that our students made just recently. That was the monies that we spent, $1,000 to purchase materials from our mason jars, to sugar, to pectin, and then we locally grew our strawberries there, and it's something locally grown in Kentucky. We can use it with Kentucky Proud. This is a label through the Commissioner's Office that they've supported with that initiative to grow your own, eat locally, healthier, those things too. So now we are listed as a Kentucky Proud producer, grower, and so we can market those things. So my program now is designed around all those things that are going to be productive, sustainable. And if you're looking at those things, provide labs, hands-on experience for students, having a market for it. Those things are there locally grown in your community. We have a large greenhouse, so it's taking something from the greenhouse with plants now, so we can market that Kentucky Proud logo. We'll open next Monday for sale. Tomato plants for 50 cents a piece, so pack of 4 for $2, Mr. Richard, you remember that. So we market locally, people come in there, we tallied alongside our Soil Conservation Service, and Soil Conservation Service gave us another $7,000 to build a high tunnel. So they purchased that high tunnel for us, and now we have a site prepared, and so weather permitting, like Mr. Combs said, weather is a limiting factor of agriculture things outside. So we have a site prepared now, and we're going to get that high tunnel fixed. So in the next 3 weeks, we're going to look a little bit different in our Kentucky Proud products that we're doing. Most of you saw those outside. It lends itself very well to students working. They love getting in there, doing some things. People make donations, apples that we used. Some came from Haney's Orchard down western part of the state, and some came locally from some of our students bringing their apples in. We did that for Christmas time. Parent open houses are good for cider and such like that. And more programs are doing this. I know Jackson County was another that they just put out 240 apple trees around there with this farm to school initiative now, with monies to maintain those things and give those students more projects. So the state as a whole is leading to more of these projects that lends itself to Kentucky Proud growers, producers, and all. So what was involved, we're working with it allows any group that wants to associate with it and work with it openly to work with it. UK specialists with doing those things, whether it be what varieties we're going to grow into a greenhouse and or raised beds or a high tunnel. Working it with other students, ATC, carpentry classes, electricity, with doing the projects that we have that's going on with doing those. Extension. Our Farm Bureau Board also gave a donation of $2,000 to us to help implement this, because and it's an investment. If they see we're working in it and investing in it, then we're going to be more apt to do it. So everybody so far has been on this the board with that. Sharing, getting that out to the community has been a good thing too. Going to the board meetings and talking and telling them what's happening. They're proud of that fact. Our Commissioner Comer through the Ag Development Funds and those things too are very supportive. Kentucky Proud Initiative. They're also sending the 4-H and FFA students money through this Ag Tag program. So when you renew your farm tags, part of that money will come back to those programs to help do projects such as these. But it does promote itself very well. We are a member. It extends to the community. We could charge $3.59. We won't mention who's doing that, but some places are, for one tomato plant. Well, if we can cut that price and be sustainable to where we can buy those seeds next year and the soil mix we need, then we give those to the community. That's an ongoing thing. They're wanting to know when that greenhouse is going to be open. If we put it into cabbage in this high tunnel, such as they can come in there and that's as fresh as you're going to be able to get it, we'll cut their own and be able to send that at a lower price and get a fresher, wholesome. And those are repeat customers, should be repeat customers for us to come back and then let those students market that and work that and that sort of thing too. it has lended itself to more work than probably what I can do, and I've overextended a lot of things. This week we probably had 100 and some kids in classes, ag classes. Our Gear Up program has been over there, so we have 40 young people we're working with because it's the sciences. They're in there. They're going to be doing making ice cream, working with beef. And they've been in the greenhouse and do a lot of different things. So kids are really interested in wanting to do those things. That's hands-on and providing some of these things. But the things that we have to do promoting it. You'll see some of those samples out there today. Those of you familiar with FFA lends itself great to those proficiencies we do, which is a record keeping with their math. And here's the things they learn, so it can get regional recognition, state recognition. 2 of our students got regional recognition, and it's going to go on to state here next month in June. And it's over those things that they're doing in there, from canning, preserving, and or working in the sales and communications part of the education part of it. And they're really proud of it. And it ties the real world situation into that. And these are things that they have. We could go, there's our larger processing plants that you can go to, and I've thought about that. I know some schools are doing that with it's Anvil in Jackson County. But this is locally, so this is something when they get that little stove and they get that pot and they make their juice and they put their pectin in there and they do that. I feel confident I could walk away and every one of my students, and that's 100 students, could go to that and process that and know how to do it. They're going to continue that. They talk about that and they'll continue that. So, but you'll see some of those. Promoting the product. They have trouble cleaning up some of the messes. Another one that we're going to do is the Bobcat bread. Most of my people from bread here today has probably sampled that at some point or another. It either smells really good in my program or really bad, one of the two, and it's usually coming from our noisy people that keep down me and Mr. Combs and that. But this is our Kentucky Farm Bureau. They gave us $2,000. They're very supportive. We want to renew that. I went to the Soil Conservation District to ask for this high tunnel to put the plants in. And I'd taken samples of our apple jelly, and at the end of the meeting, the guy shook my hand and he said, "Congratulations, that's the most expensive jar of apple jelly we've ever invested in." But it's a good little community thing to do. It ties them in and keeping them abreast of what's happening. I'll follow up and report to them what's happening and those things too, and let them know, and that's a good thing. But it involves a lot of people. UK specialists are really good to help us out. Other counties are doing great. I know Appalachian County, they've got the farm, and they're doing a lot of things with farmers market and those things too. So you're going to see a larger push from this from local schools, tied it in, farm to school, selling to your local cafeterias, the plants, the produce that you're actually making. And we can sell. What we grow in our place we can sell. We're also going to look at doing a salsa in fall. We've got the recipe approved to do a salsa, so we'll grow our own tomatoes. Our seeds were started in a greenhouse. Plants will go to the raised beds. Raised students will take care and monitor all that. They'll harvest in the fall, do the processing of it, and actually then advertise and market and the whole thing, so it'll be a salsa. So you see a lot of the kids working. And we wanted to take this site below where the agriculture room's there and actually make it an agricultural site, which ties into the next grant. So you see raised beds, that was monies through Pride grant money. That was really good. Kids like working. Whether it's successful or not, you're going to have some plants that die for whatever reason, but you're going to have success of it, and they like having that input and getting some busy doing some things too. You'll see 3 of the students out there today, and they're great with it. We had 40-some students come over yesterday from an elementary school, and my students done the teaching. And I thought that I was proud of that, because I just kind of stepped back and let that. And so the rewards I get from that is, man, I can't believe those students could do that, and they did. So it's leadership skills back to your older kids to teach your younger kids. I look at it as that's future agriculture students or FFA members want to take my program. Okay. Now we're going to go into the next one was the country ham house, and that's interesting. Right now it's a barren lot right now level. Going into where a ham house was at, and you see the structure. It's sad, and they wanted to tear it down. But I'm like Mr. Combs, that old school look at that. It's kind of pitiful, and that's the way it looks right now. But the foundation of it, the framework of it was still good, so it's not a wasteful thing, and it was a great project. So in the next 3 weeks, this is going to morph and change into something that's going to be a black roof, red sides, white trim, so it's going to look like a little barn. And Mr. Booth had that idea. I saw the blue and white colors, or school colors, but I think making it an agricultural thing that students can be proud of. I even asked the students, well, how do you want to fix that? And they said, well, you know, they're going to have a work day, and so there'll be 5 or 6 of them or 10 bring their old clothes one day, and I have 2 5-gallon buckets of paint and turn them loose. So they'll go down there and hopefully paint that to our satisfaction. But the Country Ham House students do the project. They have the ham, a ham that they can get out of that, cures all year out for that. So we'll run probably about 20 hams is a good average. I suspect that number may increase. I don't want to get more than what we can take care of and what we can handle, but then we'll show them how to process that, a value-added product if it was in a pack or per pound and those things. You tie in any of your math skills that you want to, science skills and all that, and then you can see what a mess it was. I know and our students cleared that out. It was everybody has those little junk places, and they just kind of overstock things, and you kind of have to see the potential of that for storage and those things. So my students did not care at all. They loved to work, and they got down there and they swept and cleaned. But it's going to tie this little unit in together where it's an agricultural production, sustainable area, and be something that we have a greenhouse tied to, we have the Country Ham House tied to, we have a raised beds that's production, and a high tone that's production. Before I left earlier, Mr. Richardson, he's going to take some cutting from me earlier for blackberry bushes, and I believe a couple other things, blueberries, and he's going to donate those to us. So that's why we met here today. And so the students like doing the projects and the hands-based stuff. So I run 100 to 125 students per year, and they all actively get involved. This time of year gets a little bit tiresome, but it is very well worth it in the hands-on projects to do. And trying to make them sustainable. And if you can talk about the food and tying your math and sciences, it's a winner. And it's been very good. It takes a lot of trying times and things go wrong, but all in all, it's been very well. But by the second week of May, I've told them in 2 weeks that if they give me 2 weeks of very hard work, then the last 2 weeks I'll cook for them. And that's enough bribery that it's going to take. So I better come through the last 2 weeks some way, shape, or form. And so that they'll do that. They'll get out there and work like little beavers, and they don't realize that they're learning so much by doing that. They just think that they're working toward getting fed. But that's a good link to tie that back in. And if you have any questions,